Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jan Vosbitter, and I'm the director of Paralimes. And I welcome you all to what I trust will be a very interesting conference again. And most in particular, I welcome Professor Bertil Andersson, the president of NTU, who will open this conference. And I will immediately give the stage to him because he needs to go after 15 minutes. So we're very glad to have him here for 15 minutes. And I'd only have one request before he starts. Please turn off your electronic equipment, or at least put it in the silence mode. Bertil, please come to the stage.
Yeah, a university president's life is really a complex system, so this is what I have to live in. This morning there were two conferences, and I was a little bit nervous this morning when I put the speeches together, that I will give the right speech to the right people, The other one is systems engineering, so if I start to talk about that, you may raise your hand and stop me, right? A warm welcome to NTU, and of course to its beautiful campus. I always add that. I live here on the campus and I love it. I'm a Swede that got stuck in the tropical campus, but I like it. And welcome, of course, to Singapore and of course, to our 6th annual Complexity Conference, this time with the theme Causality and Reality. So NTU is, of course, mostly been known for being a big technology university and not necessarily for complexity studies. It was founded in 1991, so it's quite a young university to provide Singapore economy with well-educated engineers and later on also business school to provide the banking and financial sectors here in Singapore with manpower. And I can assure you that conferences on complexity was certainly not a prime item at the university agenda these early days of NTU's existence. So it was only about 12 years ago that NTU changed from this very pragmatic build-up. And in around 2005, Singapore started to invest in research. And when Singapore does something, they do it really. So they started to invest in research a lot. And NTU then could become research intensive. At the same time, the academic portfolio of NTU changed. So we now have science, but only since 2005, and humanities and social science also from the same time. So here we are really newcomers. We have an art school, and we have now a medical school as well. And the university has developed very rapidly, fueled by Singapore government and money. It has the highest research impact in Asia today, although it's very young, and the high rankings has followed. It's fair to say, however, that most of the research at NTU have a disciplinary focus, but there is also quite a few and ambitious thematic and interdisciplinary research projects related to energy, water, virtual reality, aging society, political uncertainty, and so on. And in this spirit, we also started a Complexity Institute, as well as the present Complexity Conferences or workshops, Paralimes we call them, under the umbrella of the NTU Global Dialogue Organization. And a driver behind these complexity workshops, you already seen him, has been Jan Vosbitter, who was recruited here to Singapore and NTU from the Netherlands. Actually, I worked with Jan in my previous life when I was head of the European Science Foundation in Strasbourg. And at that time, Jan was ambitiously traveling around in Europe to raise money to make a European Complexity Institute, a little bit blueprinted on the Santa Fe Institute. And I did a humble contribution to his request for money, and we could do some funding and start the European Santa Fe Institute. However, and there were many high-level European complexity conferences for a few years, but how should I say it, after being 10 years in Singapore, Europe is Europe, and funding dried out, and the conferences could not live up to the ambitions we had, we could say. So at that time, I had come here as a provost, and Su Guaning, who is here today, was the president, and we started to discuss that we should do something here at NTU to promote complexity studies in a more systematic way. And I knew about Jan's frustration, and we gave him an offer he could not refuse. And he's here now, and we took Paralimes and the Complexity Institute with him. So I thought that was a good move. So, as I said, this is the 6th Complexity Conference at NTU. And I would say that all have been very successful, at least if I listen to the participants' reflections after the conferences, and I'm very happy about that. And the first conference was made in 2012, and that had the title, More is Different, which of course stems from the famous iconic book by the Nobel Prize winner Bertil Andersson. And I like this expression, more is different, because in a few words that actually summarizes what complexity is about. So I always refer to that. And as written in the synopsis of this conference, one of the biggest challenges for science is to entangle or better understand the relationship between causality and reality. As the new administrations in the US, you may have heard there is a new administration in the United States, have shown in the last months to distinguish between causality and reality, it's not easy. And it's not only a problem for science. Presidents, press officers, and politicians struggle with this problem. But creatively, in the United States, they find an original way of dealing with that problem. They shaped a whole new reality, which is called alternative facts, right? Very good, very creative. So maybe, you know, as the president, after this opening, I should go out and give a press release and say that this is the biggest conference in Asia and 1,500 participants, right? Well, maybe not, maybe not. I think instead I would just wish you an interesting conference, a creative discussion. And as I said, I cannot stay here because of my complex life, but I want you to enjoy the conference, each other, and simply have fun. Thank you.